Good morning or afternoon, I guess, depending on what part of the country you're in. I'm Wayde Jester, and I am going to talk a little bit about the founding of my restaurant, Zeal Food for Enthusiasts. We're a organic farm-to-table restaurant in Boulder, Colorado. And I am here to welcome all the Nutritional Therapy Institute followers to the Facebook Live event here today. This is my first time doing this. I have gone Facebook Live before, but really just for short moments to capture a little something happening at the restaurant or out at our farm. And so bear with me here as I navigate my way through this. Hi, Caroline. Anyway, welcome. I'm going to speak at the Nutritional Therapy Institute event in October here in Denver, Colorado, and tell a little bit about my story. But this is a little preview today, and so let's get going. I hope the audio is okay, and there's a trash truck driving by my alley right now, so that'll be gone in a moment and it'll get a little quieter. Anyway, so Zeal is as I said, is a organic farm-to-table restaurant. We started 3.5 years ago, and our reason for being is that I felt like, particularly in the moderately priced restaurant arena, that there was a lack of good choices for quality dining. And what I mean by quality is that, sure, the food tasted good, and you can certainly find a lot of great innovative concepts, but I was looking for nutrient density in my food, and as a longtime athlete, and in the last 10 or 15 years of my life a triathlete, I was really pursuing meals that would sustain me and help me, recover from long workouts, or just that would make my body feel like it was able to perform at its peak. And sure, there are a lot of great farm-to-table fine dining restaurants, but who can always afford to pay $100 a plate for a night out, a couple times a week, even if more than even a once or twice a month. So I wanted to bridge the gap between what I saw was a lack of quality and flavorful, nutrient-dense food in the middle-priced market. So Zeal, we set out Zeal to be that solution. We built it as an extension kind of the local farm, and as a way to bring good quality dining at a reasonable price, and to kind of touch on all the important aspects of food. I didn't want to design a vegan restaurant, because while I respect that there are a lot of people that choose that lifestyle, I wanted to be more omnivorous and offer something for everybody. So we get a lot of people at Zeal who, they might be it might be couples who one of them is a vegetarian or vegan, and the other one prefers beef or pork, and so we try and fuse that into all under one roof, and don't and are all inclusive that way. There have been definitely some challenges along the way, because the first, of course, if you're going to design a business model where you're buying expensive ingredients and you don't necessarily have the the pricing power that that some other restaurants might have, you know, you have to figure out how that's going to be financially successful. And because if you're not making a profit, then there's really no point in staying in business unless you can just afford to constantly invest into your enterprise. So we had to make some decisions early on about how we were going to structure a restaurant that was going to, you know, try and price meals under $20 and at the same time, you know, still source the highest quality ingredients. So we do a lot of things in the restaurant to maximize our efficiency. One of the things that we do is ferment, because, you know, we can take, you know, bumper crops and turn some of that excess produce into something that can serve as a flavor enhancer and you know, something that is maybe even more healthy than in its original vegetable state. So we take a lot of cabbage and turn it into kraut that we do a lacto fermentation. We make our own kimchi in-house, so that when we're able to buy Napa cabbage or head cabbage and, you know, at a reasonable price, we can buy a lot of it and then prep it for ferments that we can use to accent dishes later on. We do a lot of juicing in the restaurant. We actually have a large cold press juice machine, and the pulp from our juicing process is something that we can take and utilize in the restaurant as well. So we'll take our carrot pulp and we use it in our mix for veggie burgers, and we use our beet pulp and make a really sensational dressing out of it, because even after you juice some of these vegetables, they still have some things to give, and we want to, you know, make sure we're optimizing these high quality ingredients so that we can get the most out of them. We also, what was I going to say? We also do some, nope, that one left my brain. Sorry, I'll get back on track. There was another nifty trick that I was thinking of, but now I've forgotten it. Well, one of the things that this summer, I think, to kind of put our money where our mouth is, and we're about 3.5 years in now, we decided that it was time to try and get our own farm going, because there's no better way to sort of control the quality and quantity of your summer produce than to just grow it yourself. And you know, a lot of things kind of happen, I think, by surprise, and sometimes I feel like, you know, you put it out there and there's a certain, you know, will taking over in the greater universe that helps you find people that can help your business succeed or you fulfill your goals. And so we had a guy working in the restaurant who was really passionate about farming, and he was kind of biding his time at Zeal until he could sort of branch away and get back into farming as he was, you know, getting in the Boulder market. And so his name is Sam, and Sam worked for about a year in the restaurant and then decided he was going to go full-time in the farm. He said, Wade, you know, I love this, but I really need to, you know, be in the dirt in the summertime. So I understood, and in the back of my mind I thought, well, when we're ready, Sam's our guy. And so this past fall I pitched the idea to him about maybe getting a small greenhouse and a plot going so that we could grow some of our own vegetables. And Sam was all on board, and so we figured it out, and we developed a a plan, and Sam started executing. And if you look on our Facebook page, we've got some lovely pictures, or our Instagram, both are Zeal Food. You'll find some awesome pictures of not only some of the produce that are coming out of the farm right now, but also some really cool shots of the farm itself, and the function and aesthetic appeal of kind of doing your own. And so, farms are definitely an investment, and we tried not to bite off more than we can chew in the first year, and I think we've done a good job of that. But we didn't just stop at starting our own farm, right? So we had to kind of take it to the next level in a way. And coincidentally, again, universe maybe having a little influence here, certainly something other than just our core team. We ended up hiring a person this summer who had just graduated from college and was out here to look for a great summer job, and lo and behold, her boyfriend happens to work for this innovative soil biology company. And she connected us because she heard that we were doing our own farm, and this company called Innovative Organics that our man Jed is working for, he started talking to us about pioneering a technique called Bokashi. And Bokashi is an ancient Japanese method to impart ecological methods to growing, vegetables, fruit, cannabis, whatever whatever is desired. But for growing, the Bokashi method is fully organic and is a system of utilizing food waste to and in an accelerated manner to impart additional nutrients into the soil. And what I mean by that is that it's actually like a food waste management program where you take something like juice pulp, which we generate a lot of because we're pressing about 300 pounds of vegetables every week and fruits into juices. So we take all that juice pulp and we inoculate it with a specific bacteria that creates a ferment, and that ferment, the byproduct of that fermentation is a tea, and we take this tea and then mix it with our irrigation water at our farm, and boom, we are adding microbes and enhancing the biology of the soil at our farm from the very juice pulp that would normally just go to waste or maybe go to a compost facility. So we're trying to supercharge our soil, which is going to create even more nutrient-dense vegetables that will be more flavorful and healthful than they would ordinarily. And it's kind of a fully renewable process that we are taking our waste and converting it into our fuel. So yes, the ultimate recycling project underway, Kathy. And I think that what I've learned a little bit about, and I think this is really a great story for the Nutritional Therapy Institute, is that we're really kind of on the frontier of gut health and understanding how gut health is related to our overall health. And many of those same microbes, some of those bacteria that are in a healthy human gut, are actually in the soil that grow our produce. So if we can enhance the soil biology with and get higher yielding crops out of that taste better and are more resistant to disease or to rot or to weeds or to bugs, then it's a win-win proposition, because we are starting with the right kinds of produce that can help impart those microbes into our own body, and then this cycle just kind of continues, and food that tastes better, food that grows larger, and food that makes us, more vital human beings. So that is one of the exciting things that we have stumbled upon quite accidentally this year, that we coincidentally had the farm in place, and now we are, on our way to hopefully really coming up with a system that can sustain us into the future. Because, as much as I love buying, I love, subscribing to the organic, the mission of organic vegetables, and I do believe that organic food is grown in a more responsible manner, and and better for our soils, and not as depletive to our soils. There's still a better method out there, and that's what we're trying to investigate, because organic in and of itself is almost not enough. And if we can start to take our food that we're producing, food that we would that we serve in the restaurant, and the byproduct of that, whether it's trimmings from cutting up vegetables or pulp from the juice, and use that to enhance our next crop, that's even more exciting. So it's a great time to be, I think, in this business. There's a lot of excitement from groups that are interested in helping others to achieve a higher plane of health. We see a lot of people coming through our doors that just want to have a good meal, and don't really care about that. But along the same lines, we also get our share of activists and foodies that have kind of taken it to the next level, and they are speaking the same language that we are, and those are always the most fun groups to have. We last August, about a year ago now, we had the Ancestral Health Symposium was in Boulder for a week, and there were a bunch of personalities in the in the Weston Price and paleo circles that were in town. I met a guy named Ben Greenfield for the first time, and I had sort of followed his athletics and his podcasts, and some other folks. But it was just like every day people coming into the restaurant, and they were like, "We're so glad you're here. This is what we've been looking for," and it's just that's the low-hanging fruit that you love to pluck, because it's people just light up when they see our menu, and it's an easy relationship to come together to join forces. But commercially, we need to be popular as a restaurant to a lot more people than the niche groups that are interested in in food as medicine, or that are pursuing a way of eating as a way toward better health. And so it dawned on us early on, and I think this is one of the things that we do pretty well, but we can still do better, and that is continuing to evolve our menus so that we have a lot of choices that are intriguing to people, both who understand exactly what we're trying to do, and those that just want to be taken care of and offered a delicious meal. That's Boulder is a really interesting and unique place, because I think you get a lot of folks who have this in their DNA. That's why they're here in the first place. They already understand what we're doing. But later this year, we're hoping to open a second restaurant in the Denver market. And and it will be our first expansion and our first challenge to try and make sure that we're communicating to a broad enough audience so that we can, have commercial success. So we're going to be opening in South Denver, hopefully in December, and a lot of work to do on that. And but before opening Zeal, I actually came from that market, and yes, Caroline, expansion. And so I still have a lot of contacts and friends and fellow or former business associates and community down in that area. So I feel like we'll have at least a good soft open, and then the amazing thing about going into a new market other than Boulder is also the lack of other restaurants that are sort of doing what we are doing here in Boulder. And so I feel like, there may not be as many people per capita that want to have what Zeal is offering, but there's going to be very few options for those that do. So we're going to be one of the few, small ponds in the big sea where they can recreate and find a delicious and nutrient dense options. Cold pressed juices. I should probably talk a little bit about our menu for those that haven't checked it out. We do breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We are mostly a gluten-free restaurant, but we do have some glutinous items on our menu. We do some of our popular morning options are our egg dishes, and we combine eggs with sautéed kale and a sweet potato hash. That's our eggs your way breakfast. We do a kind of a traditional egg sandwich that has that is on a rosemary focaccia roll, and grass-fed cheddar and some pastured bacon. Or we have such great ranchers around this area, and so one of our sources, Boulder Lamb and Meats, they sell us both lamb and pork, and their bacon is just amazing, and we take their breakfast sausage and put a little sage in it, and that's really delicious. We buy our eggs from them because they raise chickens, and we have a local dentist who also has a little chicken farm, and so we're getting eggs from them. So we're trying our best to support those local businesses. Come on in town, Caroline. There's plenty of room in Boulder. I see my old triathlon coach Trista just joined, and I see one of my former high school friends just joined as well. So hello out there. So we have some vegan options for breakfast. We do a scramble using tofu with some turmeric instead of egg for those that want to do it's a vegan. We also do a great avocado focaccia toast. We have acai bowls, which I personally discovered when I was in Kona racing the Ironman in 2007, and couldn't wait to get back to Kona just for the acai bowls, and did it again in 2012. So I knew that when I opened a restaurant that I needed to have that on the menu, and so we take Brazilian acai berries, and we blend them with a little coconut oil and avocado and some blueberries, blackberries, whatever we have on hand, and make kind of a frozen sorbet out of that, and then we serve it cold with some toppings like our house granola. Oh, that was one of the other things that we do. We make almond milk in the house, right, with organic almonds. So we take that almond pulp and we dehydrate it, and then make a grain-free granola out of it using coconut oil and coconut shreds and nuts and seeds and some dried fruit, and it's delicious. We do it in a cacao and a cinnamon turmeric flavor. So we have those as are some of our hot breakfast items. We also Chef Leslie just came up with an astonishingly delicious new pancake that's made with spelt flour, and it has green onions and zucchini, shredded zucchini. We have so much zucchini out at the farm that we're trying to devise new ways to use zucchini. So we got zucchini noodles in the restaurant. We're putting zucchini in the pancakes, sneaking it in wherever we can, and so we've got this savory pancake that's got the green onion and zucchini, and then a little kimchi of our house kimchi on the plate, and a little pork belly, and then this delicious we call it Shanghai sauce. It's a brown sauce that we make, and it's just knockout, man, so good. And then we for lunch we have a number of bowls. We do a roasted veggie bowl over rice, or cauliflower rice, or quinoa. What's up, Ed? Edward London Hill just joined. We do so what we do is we take our roast veggie mix, which kind of changes by the season and even by the week a little bit, but it generally includes some root vegetables, some broccoli, some cabbage, and we've done some really radish. Radish, carrots, broccoli, turnips, a lot of turnips, and so we roast all these separately and caramelize them a little bit so they're super flavorful, season them with a little salt and pepper, and then we combine them into a bowl that we top over one of those grain options: noodles, rice noodles, cauliflower rice, or quinoa, and then finish it with a sauce. And we've got about 6 different sauce options. So that can be a vegan dish, or that can be, you can top it with an extra protein and have a complete, a really complete grain, vegetable, and protein meal. You can top it with soy protein. We started using jackfruit recently because I did a radio show in the winter and met this young lady that started importing jackfruit from India. Apparently jackfruit is like one of those things that is not even it's so organic because it's not even a commercial crop yet. I mean, it grows wild natively in India, and they just sit on the side of the road when they fall down from their tree, and I guess people scavenge them if they want. But she saw this way to turn this commodity in India into a job for people to take this jackfruit and clean it up, chop it up, process it, and send it as a overseas as an export. And so it's it's a little more of a carbon footprint than getting something from the local Boulder farm, but we're supporting the agriculture in another community on the planet, and in a way that I feel like is worth the extra carbon footprint we have to absorb to do that. So we have jackfruit as a new vegan option on the menu. We do some great salads for lunch. We've one of our most popular salads from the start has been a grilled Caesar, and we make we take a romaine and kind of slice it longitudinally and put a little salt and pepper and olive oil on it, and then grill it, put flat side down on the grill and mark it, and then finish it with our homemade Caesar sauce. Very yummy. and we're getting some wild salmon from a small fishery out of Alaska, and all line caught, and we use that on a salmon plate that is finished with a beet farro, and I've even started taking this, because it's like frozen immediately and then shipped, and so we thought it and started playing around with the idea of maybe even curing it in house, and so my family has currently enjoyed the fruits of my experimentation on house cured salmon. It's so fun. Let's see, what else? Oh, do you have any questions out there? I've been doing all the talking, and I should probably take any specific questions that might be out in the stratosphere here. Kathy just says, you had me at pork belly. Please talk about the cooking fats you're using. Oh yes, thank you. That's a really good one. So you know, that, oh man, that. Thank you for that, Kathy. That is definitely one of my pet peeves about eating out right now, right? Because like there are so many restaurants that, you know, serve up delicious fried food, but what the hell are they frying it in, right? I mean, you just gotta wonder. And I know now, being in this business, that's one of the areas where restaurants can cut costs, and you can buy vats of the cheapest, you know, most toxic oils to put in your body, and you wouldn't know it because you can't really taste the oil so much. I mean, the food and the seasoning, you know, overwhelms it. So at Zeal, and this is one of our commitments, we only cook with organic coconut oil, and we only use organic extra virgin olive oil for our finishes, for our sauces and dressings. So we're committed to those two, and so far it's been working. We even have a food truck. It's actually not really a truck, but we do have a food truck. But we also have this 8x8 foot trailer that we serve twice a week up at the Boulder Farmers Market. It happens to be 6 blocks from our restaurant, and it's very convenient. And we have a fryer on this cart because we bought it from another vendor that wasn't going to be in the business anymore, and so we were like, okay, well, we don't even have a fryer in the restaurant, but let's see what we can do with a fryer. So we, you know, serve things like our plant burger, and plantains, and our sweet potato fries, all deep fried in organic refined coconut oil at the market. And so one of our big market fans is hoping that someday we'll be able to just cook in tallow, but so far the sourcing on tallow is a little rough on the cost side, and so that might be a little ways off yet. Until I can start figuring out a way to produce our own tallow, we're going to continue using the coconut oil. So thanks for that question. You don't want to, somebody from Nutritional Therapy Association just said, will you let me set up a cot in the back kitchen? You don't want that. It's, you know, smells of kimchi and kraut back there, and, you know, kombucha. You don't want that. But maybe, actually, you know, the good thing about that idea is that we would have somebody there to constantly critique the cleanup, because that's one of my other sort of pet peeves about the restaurant business is you know, you want to be able to, we're serving food, and you want to be able to eat in any portion of the restaurant, and sometimes keeping our team you know, focused on taking ownership of all the spaces in the restaurant, all the nooks and crannies, is important, because, you know, we were really trying to serve up something for for other hungry humans, and we want it to be we want it to come from the best, well cleaned and designed to organized spaces. Anyway, so what else? Oh, we also Zeal, and I'll keep a tab if anybody has any questions, fire away, and I'll be happy to try and answer them. But we also at Zeal, one of the things that we do is we have our own cocktail program. So we are we do source. Boulder, Colorado is one of the microbrew capitals of the world. So we have some local beers, and we're currently doing a keg wine program that where we instead of only relying on bottles, we tap our wine and then dispense it out of a out of a pull tap, and it's run on a nitrogen system. So if you want to come in and get a glass of wine with your meal, we've got that for you too, and we're sourcing our wine from biodynamic organic growers around the country that are producing good wines. We also, all that cold pressed juice that we make, we actually dispense that out of a tap as well. So you can come in and get a grab and go and take a 16-ounce bottle of juice with you, or you can have a wine glass and enjoy a nice beet juice or a green juice or carrot juice or whatever. We've always got at least 5 juices on hand, and they are kept preserved, without exposure to oxygen on a nitrogen tap in a stainless steel keg. So that's one of the other things that we've tried to do to innovate and make healthy dining a little bit more fun and social. So what else? Anybody else have any questions out there? I have a good friend that you guys, some of you may know, who is in the healing with nutrition forefront, and her name is Amy Myers. When we first opened the restaurant, I consulted with her on a number of things, and so we, shortly after we opened, we had her in for a talk and a book signing and an invitation dinner. That was really fun. I don't know if she's going to be attending the association's event this December, but her book Autoimmune Solution has been a real helpful source of information for everybody. And also we have a local group who have a nutritional cleanse that they and they are actually kind of our opening partners in the restaurant. Joe Shulman and Julie Playas, and they have a book called The Conscious Cleanse, and they're also really focused on serving up some of the cleanest recipes they can, and educating all their clients about how to use food as a way to achieve your health goals. We actually on the Conscious Cleanse folks, we about 4 times a year we get all of them that are doing an active cleanse with Joe and Jules into the restaurant and throw one big cleanse dinner, which is a great way to, if you're ever doing a cleanse, going out to eat is usually one of the last things on your list, but we do that in the restaurant and prepare a special meal that avoids all of the problem foods that they're trying to do in their elimination diet. So none of the very low grains in total, but certainly no gluten, no soy, no nightshades, and no refined sugars or any of that, and so we've had good success with that. It's usually a Tuesday night, as I said, 4 or 5 times a year, and it's a great occasion to be able to serve some of our fans. We also every day on our menu we highlight items that satisfy those same nutritional goals, and mark them with a heart on the menu as a way for people that are on a cleanse to come in and know that that's probably going to be cleanse friendly for them. Caroline asks, do we cook in aluminum? Some restaurants are moving away from commercial aluminum cookware. Is this a concern of ours? I admit I'm not fully briefed on the latest research on aluminum. What I do know about aluminum is that you don't want to store food in it. That cooking, if you're cooking the food in it and then you're immediately taking it away from the aluminum, that's considered the safest way to go. And we do have some aluminum pans. They're just a realistic option for us. We also have some cast iron and low carbon steel and and non-stick surfaces as well. So we have a variety of stuff. I'm not too concerned about that. Although we're always looking for ways to to be as mindful as possible. Hi Chantel, I was just reading your note, and congratulations on your success. And you ask any tips on getting kids. I have 4 to adapt to cultured and fermented foods, fresh veggies market. Yeah, here's a tip. Don't feed them anything else other than that. It's so hard with kids. We do, in our society of the quick satisfying snack food, really hard to get our kids to eat well. And I've heard people say things like, children have much more sensitive taste buds than we do. They have more taste buds, so they get more flavor from their food already, and that's why they're automatically averse to certain foods. But I think and I have 2 children of my own, and they're now 13 and 15, and 2 girls, and I definitely always tried to serve them whole foods. But the hardest thing to do as a parent is to let your child not eat that meal. And I think that's where we all cave, is that when you have a child and you put something that is good for them in front of them and they refuse to eat it, and then the only thing they'll eat is the goldfish that is in the cupboard, or something worse, then you have a choice as a parent, and that choice is to either let your child skip that meal and see if they want to come back on the next round and actually eat, or you can cave and give them the other food. And the problem with caving is that you're creating the behavior that they're going to know that they can get the food they want, and that you will eventually give in. So my advice out there would be to let your child, and I hope I don't get in trouble for this, but when your child refuses to eat the meal that you put in front of them that is good for them, then just let them not eat that meal, and see how it works. I did it with my kids, and you know what? They never died of starvation, and eventually I was able to assert my will, and then now they have a really great appreciation of all kinds of flavors and foods. Although I still can't get them to eat mushrooms. But that'll come. Let's see. Anybody else out there have? I don't know how interactive this is. I don't know if I can ask you questions and you'll respond. But how many are planning to go to the conference in October in Denver, and will I see you there? Yeah, thumbs up. reading some of the comments here and laughing. What else? You know, guys, I don't have a whole lot else on my plate today. As far as, yes, Chantel, it is tough with a 15-year-old. I have a 15-year-old. I know. I just, you know, the biggest success I've had with my, I think with my children on the eating front is just getting them to not always need something sweet, you know, and they do enjoy the acidic pleasure of like a house fermented pickle or kraut, and they love. And I make them. We do a whole grain sourdough at home. It's one of the things that I haven't quite figured out yet how to do in our tiny restaurant, but I've been culturing my own sourdough starter for the last 5 years, and so I do often a spelt flour sourdough bread, whole grain, and the girls just love it. And we have it with grass-fed butter, and or make a grilled cheese out of it. And it's just, you know, just to not have to buy white bread or even, you know, crappy store-bought whole wheat bread. I just love. Well, thank you all for tuning in, for my helping me through my first Facebook Live event. I hope I didn't ramble too much. I definitely could use a little practice at this, so I look forward to doing it again. Dinner's at 7 p.m., Matt. As early as you shoot, we're serving it all day long, so you can come in at 7 or 6 or 5, or I may head over to Zeal right now and grab a bite. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in, and wish you all the best. And I look forward to meeting more of you, and maybe seeing some familiar faces when the NTA event happens this October. So for now, over and out, and everybody in good eats. Take care. Bye.